Torrential rains dropped more than 180 liters per square meter in just 12 hours in eastern Spain. Several cities across the regions of Valencia, Aragón, Murcia, Castellón, and Tarragona experienced flooding, power outages, and rescues during the emergency. The State Meteorological Agency issued orange and red alerts along the eastern coast and the Balearic Islands. The event was triggered by an extratropical system that swept across the Iberian Peninsula, bringing persistent rainfall, thunderstorms, hail, and even the risk of tornadoes. In the city of Molina de Segura, in the Murcia region, 74 liters were recorded in just a few hours. Water flooded highways and forced the closure of Highway 301. 3 out of every 4 vehicles became trapped and required rescue. In the same area, the Emergency Coordination Center reported nearly 100 incidents in a single day. These included road blockages, rescues, and pumping water out of homes and businesses. But the worst was still to come. In the Valencian town of Alda, the Celta ravine overflowed in just 35 minutes after 57 liters of rain fell. Waters ran through the town center and flooded entire streets. The mayor stated that newly installed defenses held back the surge and prevented evacuations, although water levels still reached nearly halfway up the wheels of cars. The episode was described as one of the toughest tests yet for the town's drainage system. In Castellón, firefighters rescued a driver trapped inside his car in the town of San Jordi. Heavy rains also dropped 61 liters in just a few hours in the municipality of Les Users. In the province of Tarragona, authorities warned about the rising Lido ravine and advised residents to avoid low-lying areas. More than 400 homes lost power in the town of La Rápida, and classes were suspended in several schools in Deltabra and surrounding areas. In Aragón, the capital city of Zaragoza saw the Huerva River overflow. Entire neighborhoods were cut off. Firefighters used boats and forestry vehicles to move trapped families to safety. Within Zaragoza itself, more than 100 emergencies were handled in just a few hours. These included rescues of people trapped in vehicles, pumping water from basements, and flooding that affected hospitals such as Royo Villanova and Miguel Serva. The tram system was suspended when water inundated the Goya underpass. Replacement buses were put in place, though with delays. The numbers kept climbing. In the Valencia region, 230 additional firefighters, forestry brigades, and rapid response teams were deployed. Civil protection urged people to stay indoors and follow official alerts. The central government kept the military emergency unit on standby to intervene if needed. The Civil Guard patrolled riverbanks and high-risk areas. Emergency call centers doubled their staff to handle the surge in requests. Monitoring stations were set up near reservoirs and dry riverbeds at risk of overflowing. In Valencia, the city opened emergency shelters and sports centers such as Benimaclet to house vulnerable residents. The Red Cross assisted with response efforts. Authorities reminded the public of new labor rules that allow absences during red alerts without penalties. Critics, however, noted that court hearings were not automatically suspended, forcing people to travel during the emergency. In Murcia, beyond the impact on homes, the rains also struck agriculture. Fields of lettuce, spinach, and cabbage were submerged and harvests were lost. Excess moisture raised the risk of fungal growth and crop damage. Farmers repeated calls for long-delayed hydraulic projects, such as canal work and retention basins. They argue that every episode of heavy rain exposes structural shortcomings. The regional government responded that investments have been made in drainage and road resilience, but acknowledged that larger infrastructure projects remain incomplete. Still, the situation worsened further in towns such as Lorca, where residents demanded faster progress on flood prevention projects after new overflows. Meanwhile, rescue brigades and volunteers continued pumping water and clearing debris. Temporary shelters were set up for displaced families. In Valencia, towns such as Torrent, Alda, and Zaragoza streets turned into rivers. Cars were left submerged, and firefighters carried out dozens of rescues in homes. Some schools suspended activities, public transport was disrupted, and several neighborhoods were left without electricity.